All right, there we go. So let's work on the model architecture. All right. So basically, all right, making an app is like a building a house, all right, in which you need to have a blueprint. And whenever the blueprint is well developed, right, and then you can just use this blueprint to build another house, right? Okay, so it's just like that. Okay, so there we go. And for instance, building a house, basically, building a house, you need to have like a front door, maybe a garden, right? And the backyard, maybe a swimming pool, right? A swimming pool, right? What else? Maybe electricity, water, pipeline, and anything else you need, right? So making an app is just like that because the application is a software. It has a front end and it has a back end, right? So, and a well-designed app basically has a front end and a back end working together, right? Together. Therefore, so whenever you are working on any mobile application development, you definitely want to think, all right, so I'm making a house or I am building a Lego uh, object, or even, for instance, like you are okay, or even like you are making a movie, right? Making a movie, uh, a music, and maybe a meal, right? Okay. You just need to have a blueprint or a recipe. So therefore, you can use the recipe to cook, right? Okay. So there we go. So a front end in a mobile app, it's just like you have a view controller, just like that, right? Okay. And for instance, I'm going to probably modify this one into system yellow, right? Okay. And run the code one more time, and then you will be seeing, okay, now the simulator is displaying a yellow view, right? Okay. But apparently, this app doesn't have any model. That simply means it doesn't have a blueprint. It's just a plain um, screen, right? Right? Okay. So therefore, what you really need to do is, first of all, okay, you want to properly define a user, right? Okay. So suppose you are making a social media platform, right? Okay. So therefore, um, okay, and if you are creating a social media platform app, it is very similar. It's very similar. Like you are making a character, right? Because of social media, it's like a real person, right? A social media account represents a person, and because user is able to update their bio, username, age, career path, school information, and yada yada yada, right? Okay. So therefore, making a social media platform is just like defining a person, right? Okay. Whenever you understand that part, making a mobile app uh, could be a bit fun, right? Okay. So therefore, definitely you need to create something called user, right? And this is user, and you want to make it into a codable or decodable and encodable, right? Okay. So I remember we went over these last class, right? Okay. So we have users here. And then, all right, now you can define, okay, what kind of characteristic I want to define this person, like the very basic attributes. I guess probably the first one is going to be username, right? So a username can be a string, all right? You can use a var to declare it as well. And a var may be a real name, right? So I'm going to just call it maybe name. Okay. This is going to be a question mark. And in some platform, you could also have first name and a last name, right? Okay. So therefore, user can basically fill out their first name and last name separately, right? Okay, depends on your desire. So like a first name, right? And you can use underscore to separate, such as first name and the user name. Okay. And then last name, right? Okay. Um, and or if you just want to use the full name, that's no problem, right? Because user can simply say, my name is John Smith, right? And we can use a substring algorithm to check if there is a uh, space. And the first substring is going to be first name, and then it's going to be the last name. But it depends on different culture, right? So in China, uh, first, fir this one is going to be, yeah, in China, right? So last name first and first name last, right? Okay. So therefore, I guess probably using a full name, maybe a first name and last name can be pretty pretty good. I would say that. So first the name here, right? And then you can also define age. Age we I guess we just use a string to handle the data. Okay. And then you can define the others, right? Maybe bio, like a bio and also description. Description, right? Description. All right, but I guess maybe bio just the description. So probably we just ignore that. And then we want to initialize it. So by this initializer here, right? So this is initializer or constructor, right? Okay. There we go, and then it's done. And if you run the code, it's supposed to be no problem. Why it has this warning here is because we defined user before, right? Okay. I guess it's the last class. Um, yeah. Okay. So, and therefore, I'll be just yes. Okay. I'll be using these. I'll be using these again, and I'll be pasting here. Right. It's pretty much the same things. Okay, username is user. I guess I'll just delete that. All right, I'll just delete. Or I can use a private. So private. So basically, this one belongs to this cloud or this file only. And then right here, and these I can use this right away. And oh, but however, yeah, I have to delete. I'll just let's see. I guess I would just delete these. All right. Okay. Hopefully there's no other conflicts. No. All right, there we go. So then we have these one here. And then right here. So, and suppose this is your account VC, right? Okay, do we have account VC? No, I don't here. Okay, I don't have. Then it's good. Now I need to create a var. So usually it's going to be lowercase user. And that is going to be user. All right, so basically this is just a representative, right? This is a declaration of user. All right, okay. As you can see, this is a blueprint, right? This is just like a blueprint. And these require these, and it is like a blueprint, right? Okay. And this is the user blueprint. And by using these, you can definitely create a multiple user like that, right? Okay. So for instance, um, what I can do is, okay, I'm going to have a class. This is going to be called maybe test. Okay. Test the user. Test the user. It's just a empty class here. So what am I going to do is, or maybe I can call that the users. So that simply means there are multiple users, right? Or if you think this is too cliche, I can simply have something var users or lowercase users, and it's going to be users with the constructors here, right? But as you can see, if I simply have that, it will yelling at me, right? So because no, this one is good because it's missing the arguments here. So I need to fill out the argument, right? Okay. But right now I really don't want it. So because I want to have multiple user, right? So therefore I'll be doing this. Okay. So these ones are going to be, all right. This is going to be a what? An array to contain multiple user or users. All right. Um, and then so what am I going to do now is I guess probably so whenever I create these, right? So I want to add to this array. So this array would be looks like I have U1, U2, U3, da da da, and a UN, right? Or yes, UK. Yeah, I see that. Okay, so there are these amount of users here, right? As you can see in the real world scope, social media platform has millions of users or billions of users, right? Okay. And right here, so I can create a and I can do what? So right here, I'll just do a really, really simple one. All right. So this is going to be set up sample users. Okay. And I'll just set a number, right? Okay. I think so. I'll just use n minus one. Okay. Maybe use zero. Okay. More readable. Okay. So right here, I'll be using a for loop here. And then what am I going to do? All right. Yes, I'm going to have let user, right? Let user equals user, right? Okay. And then I'm going to assign something here, right? Okay. So for instance, I have my username and the username, I'm going to simply have maybe you, all right, underscore that. And in the meanwhile, I guess I just want to initialize the rest, right? Okay, so as simple as that, as simple as that. And I guess this is the coordinate, right? The coordinate, okay, I think probably I'll just have maybe I and I probably, all right. But I need to turn that into double for sure. This is a double, right? The double, and this one is going to be a double, right? Yeah. And then now I create a users here, right? Okay. And then whenever I have that, so I need to have my users append user, right? Okay. So therefore, this method, okay, the following method, so the for loop will create an will create an uh mock or fake, right? Or testing user. All right. And you probably want to ask, okay, so you have this user here, why you can create a user here? Because previously, if I do a class user, so it is going to be a problem here because in invalid rate declarations here. Okay, the problem is this is a local variable, right? So this is a local variable and in a local scope. So you can use this, well, user again, right? So user, and this is user. This is a class, and this is basically a class scope. Okay. And definitely you can turn that into you. All right, a bit easier. Okay, but I'll just call that user. And this user would be append to users. All right, this is an array. So after all of this iteration, right? And then what I can do is for item in users, and then I can print it out. And then let's run this, but not yet. I need to call this method first, right? So set up sample. I'm going to have 10 users here. I run this code one more time. And by doing so, I'm able to have 10 sample users here. All right, okay, as you can see, so they are at this memory slot here, right? Okay. And then what I can do is probably I can print out their full name, and then you'll be seeing, okay, it is from 0, 1, 2, 3 all the way to 9, right? Okay. So there we go. As we can see, clearly see, we have all of these here, right? Okay. And those represent a specific user. That represents a specific user, right? Okay. And then so I can also add the exclamation mark to close the optional mark. Okay, maybe seeing then everything's a bit easier to see. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay. So these all of these user is supposed to be saved either locally or in the backend server, right? Okay. And okay, so hopefully this makes sense. All right. Okay, so this is set up a sample users here. And it plays an important role in the data structure and how would you define your models here, right? Okay. Good. And this is your user's DNA. All right. This is your user's DNA. So okay, so like username, full name, phone number, organization, password, and coordinates, and of course the rest of those. All right, and this is basically all the user you want to have, right? So, and for instance, if there's a new user, right? Okay, and then that's it through where? That's basically through um, the authentication part, right? So, for instance, I would simply say this is in the future, this is going to be like account VC, right? This is like account VC. All right. Okay. Good. Um, and then inside this user class, right? You can do a lot. So, for instance, what you can do is create a method here. So this is show all. All right. And then you can have a for I in 0 to dots less than users, right? Okay. Users dot count. Users dot count. And then you can print all the users. All right, print all the users of I, and then um, full name, right? Okay. So therefore, okay, so whenever you access this user, right, you have the right to check all the users, right? Okay. Why it is doable? It is because it's like a searching engine, right? Okay. So is well, suppose this user is in the account, right? So this user is able to search people in a database, right? Okay. So this is basically show all or search users, right? Okay, search users. So therefore, okay. So this is set up the simple users, right? Okay. Or in a more better way, I can call that load, right? Load users. Okay. And I'm going to change that into load users here. And whenever this one worked, right? Okay. And then you can have the user, right? So let's see. So suppose we have all of these here, and we have let user name is going to be a string, a current username. So this is a current username is going to be let's say this is U1, right? Okay, this is U1. Okay. And this is basically load all the users from backend. Okay. And then you need to match, okay, which one is you, right? Okay, so this is you, all right. Okay, so this is you. And therefore, what we need to do is, okay, another function is login, right? Then this is a login method. So login method is going to be what? Or you can simply call it an auth, right? Authentication, authentication. process, authentication process. So authentication process, you do need something called user name, right? Username or maybe email or something. That is going to be the key. But usually it's going to be email, right? We're using email to check. Okay. So therefore, logically speaking, I guess probably we need to have let's email is going to be a this one as well. And then I'll just being lazy. So I'll just let it do. Right. Okay. And then you have the emails here, right? Good. And then I also need to have emails here. So this one, I'll just use the same parameter format here. Good. Okay. So the current username or the current user email, because I guess everyone needs to use email to log in, right? Okay, or sign up. Okay. And then how do we have a match? So for instance, we have for I in where? For I. Okay, now we have another way to do the job is like first of all is going to be search users, right? And then we can definitely have something like called login or auth. Okay, auth, uh, authentication, all right, something. All right. So inside this process, I do have myself, right? So this one can basically have a self. Maybe I'll just have maybe like self-period email is going to be the email passed through. So this is the email, right? Okay. So it's basically I'm checking this email if they might you if this one's email, right? Okay. So and for that, because this is a let declaration, I am not able to wait a second. Actually it's not. So I need to use a for loop, right? For I in 0, 2 that's less than users. I'm checking all the users. If all users, period I, period email, or email, it's a match of the email I passed through, right? So that simply means, okay, so this one is going to be yes. I say yes, print, okay. Uh, found the user. And yeah, I'll basically just use this, right? So this is a checking, right? Authentication, all right. Um, and where we have that, okay, you can simply call that a method, right? So for instance, right here I have a current user, right? And then, so before this process, I'm going to initialize these variables at where? At the scene delegate, right? So this is my scene delegate right here. And then you know what's right here? The BC period user. We're going to have a user right here, right? Okay. And for these, okay, so I'm going to simply have U1, all right, for all. Okay, I'm going to have U1 for all. And definitely, so am I am able to just have one of these? Okay, so because I don't want to initialize the rest, probably. Um, but however, if you do this right here, you have to de declare everything right. Okay, but what you can do is go to right here. You can definitely create another init, right? And this initialization, let's see that. I need to go to right here. Probably just remove this one. Okay. Right here, it's yelling at me, right? Okay, so therefore you can turn that into a struct. Okay. If you turn that into a struct, okay. What you could do right here, you can initialize, let's see that. I guess you can simply initialize the email just by it. And right here, I have this one, and then self-period, self-period email is going to be email here. Return with initial. Oh, okay. The reason why, because I guess I need to either remove the question mark, therefore this one. Oh, this is such a bad decision making. I'll just use this. Okay, I will just use this. And right here, okay. Um, want to use my original design here. So this one, I'm going to have a user, right? And all of these, okay. And then right here, this is U1, right? There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. And this is going to be one and one, right? Okay, nice and easy. So therefore, I initialize this right here, right? Okay, and then as the moments of the time, I open these. So this one is already initialized, right? With the data I want. Okay, and then I can also do a authentication process here. Okay, so what am I going to do? So basically, I don't have to use this, right? Because I create a method inside my user class, right? Okay. So therefore, I can use that right away. So therefore, user period, I'm going to have the auth, right? So the email is just a, well, it's basically what current email rate. Okay. Or it's basically it's the user itself, right? Okay, user itself, period email, right? And then let me run this code one more time. Let's see what is going on. So right here, I need to use exclamation mark. Okay. Alrighty. Wait a second. Failed to send the launch event. Failed. What is going on here? Hmm? Let's see that. Okay, I have this one here and a current email. Maybe let me just comment this. And right here, search. Wait a second. So this one, the method here. Oh, okay. Oh, wait a second. Let me just do that separately. Yes. And then let me run this code one more time right here. Authentication. And then let me run this code. Yes. Users and that this one that this is users email. Okay, I guess they're supposed to be. Okay, first let me print user. All right, this one is supposed to. Okay, I have this one here. Pretty good. And right here, I also want to print VC period. This one, they're supposed to be the same. It is because it points to the same, yes. And this is this one period. Yeah, I can do this one self. U1, it is U1, right? Okay, and then okay, no worry about it. Okay, so right here, okay, I load this one. Oh, you know what? Okay, no wonder it doesn't found. It is because I missed the underscore, right? Okay, so this one I need under. Yes, I need underscore. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, and six. All right, let me run this code one more time. And then you'll be seeing, okay, so this user is found. It is because, okay, um, found a user, right? Okay. And what if I start this one with a two? So, and therefore user is not found, right? Okay. And whenever there is a user found, I need to break it. All right. And if there's no, okay, so print there is no such user, right? And that will be saying there is no such user. It is because um, the algorithm starts with 2, right? And U1 is not here. So that's why. And then I can also print out its email, right? Then we can clearly see, all right, it is doing its algorithm here. All right, okay, there we go. Okay, so we have this one. It's U_1, right? Okay, and apparently U_1 is not in the system. Okay, and I can also definitely, all right, so I have my user. Here we are show, maybe search user. And then by doing that, all right, so it will just print all the user's username, right? And then you can see, okay, why there's no such match. All right, as you can see, so all users from 2 to 9, right? There's no U_1, and that's why. And in the meanwhile, I guess I'll be, all right, print, all right, uh, search, search result, okay, search result. Right, search result, we have these amount of data, right? And if you want to make your UI a bit readable, you can definitely have this is end of search result, right? All right, so you have all of these and none of these, right? Okay, and apparently the current user is not in. So let's see. This is the current user, right? This is the current user, and this is there's no such user, right? Okay, there we go. Good. Okay, and let's see that there's double. Okay, never mind. I don't think we should use this one. Okay, user email. I'll just like guard let it must be right. If let email equals user period email and print email, right? Parent user email. Yeah, I'll just use this. All right, okay. So this is a current user is U1 and there's no such data right here. So it is considered to be there's no user, right? Okay. And definitely you can turn this method inside the user management, right? So this is the user because the user itself is able to okay, it's like okay, uh it's like you are going to register something, right? And you do know if you register or not, right? Okay. So then the authentication process is basically, yes, I can basically check myself, right? And and this is basically the way. Okay. So therefore right here, you can use the user period that to check. Okay, if I am in the system, right? And definitely you can do this. And if you don't want to put everything into one class, you can definitely create something called maybe account, right? Account um, management, right? Account management, manager. Okay. Account manager, and then you basically turn this one here, and you also turn this one here as well. Okay. And therefore, you can use these all the time, right? So for instance, you can create a let manager, right? So like user account manager equals to account manager, right? Okay. Pretty straightforward. And therefore, you remove user, just use account manager to handle the work, right? So there we go. And it gives you exactly the same result. The idea is, okay, the idea is basically making everything manageable. All right, exactly the same. Okay, so therefore, this is a one blueprint and this is another blueprint. And they are interactive, right? They're interacting with each other. Okay, and this is going to be a variable to store all the what? To store all the users, right? Okay, this is all the users here, and these ones are going to be an account manager. So you can consider this is a real manager, right? A real manager. So this manager is able to search users, right? Okay, let's say, hey, if there are any users that in the user list, yes. Is this user logged in or in the system? Yes or no, right? Okay. And of course in the search user here, right, you can also add more parameters here. So for instance, you can say is blocked, right? Is blocked. Okay. So this one's going to be a bool, right? Okay. This one's going to be bool, or it is going to be a string. It's going to be a string, anything you want. But I would just this a bool here. Okay. And then, so right here, so if users of I, so there is no is blocked, right? And then you find, oh, maybe I need to just maybe add is blocked, right? Is blocked. So you can also use a string to manage everything, right? Okay, so right here, I'm going to redo this. Okay. But whenever you, okay, so this one is blocked, right? That is going to be true, or you can simply use a string, right? Okay. So one means yes, right? Okay. And then you do something here, right? Okay. And then maybe say print uh the user is blocked, right? Uh and else you basically just print it, right? And you can also just have the name here. Which user, right? The user is blocked. And then username is users I. And then we have the username, right? Okay, there we go. But in the meanwhile, right? So, and right here, I guess you also need to um, create another parameter. Another parameter is going to be called is blocked, right? But absolutely, you cannot block yourself, right? So this one's going always going to be zero. Wait a second. So this one, oh, wait, this one's a zero. But whenever you initialize yourself, right? So this one, it must be not blocked, right? Okay, so this one. So I'm going to add this one is zero, right? Is zero. Okay. Because you cannot block yourself. No, right? Okay. Right here, so we want to make this algorithm a little bit interesting. Okay. So, and I can do this. So, therefore, I'm going to use a var here. Okay. So, okay. If I is equivalent to 4, right? Okay. Equivalent to 4. So, users period is blocked. So I'm going to turn it into 1. So that simply means I'll be having a blocked user, right? Okay. So therefore, as you can see, so uh therefore I can, but now I have a problem here. So cannot assign properly is blocked because of let, right? Therefore, now we can create a function. This is setter, right? So a setter, so we can set a block, set a block, right? So we're going to pass is maybe is blocked, right? Is blocked. It's going to be a string, and then self period is blocked is going to be is blocked. Now we ha also have another question. See, this is all let declaration, right? So, and therefore, why don't we change all of these to var, right? Therefore, we could modify this one into one, right? Okay. And what's this? Okay. So in the search user, right? Okay. In the search user, I guess for this part, we don't quite to need to use is blocked, right? Okay. No. So because this one, okay, we can simply just traverse it, right? Okay. And let's see that. Yeah, it's better to use a var declaration. So if your the blueprint you want to modify that, right? Okay. Right here. So one. Okay. And then let me run this code one more time. So then we can have a better platform, right? Okay. So okay. So the user is blocked. So optional, which is U4, right? So this is exactly what we want to do. Okay. And then so let's see. This is search user, right? Okay, search user. And if that is a block, right? Okay. And then therefore we need to use else. Otherwise it would um print it out. Okay. So the user is a blocked, right? And okay. Right? Okay, U2 is shown, and this one is a blocked, right? And all of the so this is actually how would you create a social media search engine? So, yep. Okay. All right. So this is I would say this is a lot. This is a lot, and I'm going to give you this code. I'm going to submit this at the Google Docs. And I wanted to go over these and let's see if you can implement these at your current work. All right. Okay, good. All right, Yufei, do you have any questions so far?
No.
Good. All right.